Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of my tutorial series for Captain of Industry. I'm Icon, and today our goal is to reach the next tier of construction. We want to reach the electric assemblies. I want to introduce the rubber production, and I want to introduce the basic usage of conveyor belts, and I want to repair the ship. I don't know in which order we will complete these objectives in the course of this episode, but we'll definitely see to that. So, in between this and the last episode, we had a lot of progression happening. We have now the full cycle of production going on here, because we have now the copper production. I have loosely wired that up in the end of the last episode, and since we have to wait for a thing or two, I might want to talk through that here. So our excavator is now finally excavating copper ore, and we're going to go through the process here because copper is a little bit more complicated than iron, and it'll keep us entertained until the iron is finally, until the synthetic rubber production tech is ready. So our cars here have quite a far way to drive at this point, which is, for me personally, a thing that will turn into a problem sooner or later. Because right now, our cars will have to go all the way over to the port to pick up fresh diesel. Later, they will pick up the fresh diesel here at the distiller, but this is still not really efficient. We want to get that more efficient in the long run, but we'll be getting there. So the electrolysis is still not working because we ain't got enough workers. Speaking about workers, we're going to adopt population here another time, but we're also going to go for another technology in between. And that's going to be the beacon technology. Beacon is a pretty nifty thing, as has been pointed out in the comment section. With a beacon, you can put up one tower, spend unity, and generate new populations with this. This is a pretty nifty way of getting the ball rolling for a longer period of time. The downside compared to fetching population via the village there is, quite simply said, the beacon costs you way more resources to produce the workers. The village is not that costly, and you decide when those people will hit town. The beacon does produce these every 3 months, and, well, all in all, I personally think it is better, or it is more effective to get people via the beacon, but it is better plannable and adjustable via the villages, so choose your poison. Another thing that we can do very soon is we're going to be able to produce our own electronics, which will be a really massive step forward. So I'm going to stop producing vehicle parts here for the time being. We're going to get a last tour here going, and then I'm going to stop this because we don't really need that much. I'm going to start and produce mechanical parts now. So we're going to use our unit storage just a tad bit more in this one. And we're going to set this up for vehicle parts so we can store them there. This is all still quite disorganized, and we're going to organize these things while the time passes. But I always feel like in the time while your machines are working via cars, organizing things is only so and so effective. So here we go. We have now copper. Congratulations. We are now full circle. So I'm going to turn off the production of construction parts here. I'm going to start producing electronics there now too. So we want to produce all these goods now and at least have a tiny storage there to have these things on storage. So we have now construction parts, yes. We have now electronics, yes. And we have mechanical parts, yes. The only thing we don't produce yet is rubber. Let's change that. So, rubber, we just researched that. The rubber maker is really, really simple. It merely needs two things from us. Oopsie. Diesel and coal, that's that. So we can't easily provide diesel here, and we're going to put this on like that. And we're going to check out that the green arrow here aligns with the pipeline, because this is actually quite handy. So this way we can just go over here and connect that. Boom. This way, this place is automatically supplied with diesel, and we don't need to worry about that manually. But we'll still have to worry about other things. Oh, wait a sec. I'm mistaken. This is not the pipe we wanted to go for. Whoopsie. So the distiller. I never piped out the product of that, didn't I? So we're going to change that now. So the distiller's product will... well, okay, we need to wait until the deconstruction is finished there. So let's do this. But there is another cool thing about that. We can just easily pick up that pipe here and connect this with the general wastewater. There we go. Just wanted to make sure that you guys see it. You really have to take care that everything's connected properly there. But this way, we will be now able to just get the wastewater out there without anybody needing to do too much. But there is now an issue. As you see here, our truck cannot ride over these pipes anymore, so we need to cancel these again. There are a little bit of problems there. So now this problem should be resolved. There we see. So you really got to be careful that you don't mess up with your trucks. But the easier way here to do this is, of course, this one. But I also want to showcase the things that can't go wrong here. Some things I do on purpose, some things I don't do on purpose, but you get the idea. So you can also produce rubber out of sulfur. But that is, we don't have sulfur available for now, so we can't do this. So we need more workers. And let's pause the game because our research has run dry. I thought I had these. Well, we're going to put these technologies now on the queues. Construction goes without saying. Conveyor belts, these are where we really talk business. And ramps for vehicles, I'm going to show you what these are good for in a minute. But now let's get over to our village friends and see if they have workers for us. So for population, hell yeah. I like this really a lot because you can control so well how much influx you got. But we're going to build up the beacon now as well. So the beacon is a quite costly fella. It costs you 1 unit of unity per month and only 1 worker and 20 kilowatts of power, but that's not really a lot. But the real cost factor there is the unity. But on the other hand, it is a way more effective way of increasing your population in larger numbers. But during the early stage of the game, the village just does fine. And so as we see here now, beacon, there it's happening. So our blast furnace is not working anymore because we ain't got no scrap metal anymore. So this stuff is now gone. So we're now setting up on iron ore here. So we have the mining ops not placed down for iron ore yet. So let's do this real quick. Otherwise we'll run out of iron real quick. So you already know how it works. We'll have to rotate that into a direction where it just connects, and then we'll be placing down a couple of mining jobs there. Of course, this is only the basics. Later down the road, we will have to take care of the terraforming that we basically do to this area here. Because, you know, the more we dig out, the more this terrain here will change. There is a limited amount of resource on your island. So, Let's check back to our rubber maker. As we see here, our rubber maker is missing coal. How so? So let's check what's happening here. Looks like most of our mining ops here are already done, so let's extend that a bit. And you already might notice that your mining operations, they really change the island a lot. Okay, so what's eating up a lot of time here is those excavators driving to the refuel here. And this guy looks a little bit bugged, honestly. So he somehow was unable to get out of the refueling there. Okay. So I really don't know what's happening here. So this sadly looks very, very buggy to me. This little fella looks like he's lost there. So our entire economy broke down here, and also we have now way more workers than we can accustom here in the settlement. So that's one thing. It's a problem about the beacon. It keeps producing 16 people per month, every 3 months, and you have to take care of that. So we're now in a couple of issues. So that bug here strikes me quite quite nastily. I really don't know what the problem there is, but I guess we have to scrap that baddie. And oh, wait a sec. Now he's wish I could just, let's see, maybe I can pick him up. So I haven't had that issue yet, but yeah, so sadly I was only able to delete that thing. Oh well, it's not the end of the world, so. Let's just build up a new housing unit, and that's that. Okay, as you see here, these cost a pretty high amount of construction parts. That's why I am also a little bit uncomfortable with the fact that we've lost our coal production like that. And here we go. So now we can facilitate 210 population, but I can't emphasize this enough. Be careful of this thing. You've just seen how quickly I have overproduced workers there, and this can quickly turn into a downward spiral. Because, you know, the more people you got, the more services you need, the more food you need, and so on and so forth. So, really ought to be careful about that. Okay, so our new and fresh little excavator will be finished soon. Or at least I hope so. And at this point, it is absolutely okay that we're going to put up another research facility here, because technology is growing more and more costly on us, so we gotta be working on that. Okay, so our electronics depot has been finished there, and we're now basically preparing for the next age of our factory, so to say. So we're going to put up one more of these manual assemblers, one of the last ones that we're going to use. So we got a storage for electronics, vehicle parts, construction parts. I want a storage for copper as well. Or no, for mechanical parts. That's what was lacking here. So we can now, since we have the new tech, produce construction parts tier 2. We're not going to need them for now, I just wanted to pinpoint that for a sec. So I want to have one factory here working on vehicle parts again. That's very important because, you know, vehicle parts are really important. I just paused that for a moment because I felt like we could wait with that for a moment. But now we're really yeah, here. So we don't have enough iron for that, so we can't fix that. That's what the trade with villages is good for. So we can trade wood with these guys for iron scraps. But as you see here, we can't trade. It's because we don't have the wood really in any storage. So, well, let's use that. There we go. So you can only trade things that are in a storage. So as you see here, there's a couple of things that can hold you back or whittle you down if you're not careful. So there we go. But here's how to solve these. Okay. So this should kickstart our production once more. These products you acquire are at the shipyard, of course. Now we can finally reproduce these things. Okay. So, well, it's not as if I had, not as if I could have planned what happened there in terms of with the excavator, but I'm quite happy to see that I can show here how to fix these issues when they occur. Yeah. So there's now the issue that we don't have enough coal for that process. That's why I didn't destroy the coal maker, because, you know, any situation like that, I gotta admit, I didn't expect that to happen. I could have used another excavator from another facility there as well, but, you know, this episode is about improvisation, obviously. I didn't expect that. Well, while we're waiting for these things to be built, let's have a look at these new assemblers that we have now available. So the new assembly is needing those new construction parts. Not a big surprise, but the new assembly is going to be a lot faster than the other one. Here we go. So as you see here, this is producing basically at twice the speed. So everything out of the electric assembly comes out twice as fast, but the electric assembly also needs more workers. So the first thing we're going to put up now is also another assembly for those machines. So just hope that it doesn't take forever for our folks here to get the smelting here done. So finally the coal maker is getting his business done, I guess. In situations like these, you can also put the priority higher. You have a very high priority slider here, and right now I really want that this thing is going to get the coal! Exclamation mark. And therefore I put this thing now on a high priority. So, in case you're wondering, this thing is now waiting until there's enough coal produced there to fix up the job. So, well, there we go. Weirdly enough, your trucks don't bother with a lot smaller amounts to transport. They always wait until there's a higher amount here. They don't transport before it's not 12 units there. You know why? I don't know why, but it is as it is. So we're now also producing slag. Slag is going to land on your dumping piles as well, and I strongly recommend you to enable slag also here in the crusher recipe for your concrete production, because this is a good way of getting rid of that stuff. every now and then, to check out if your dumping sites are large enough for your needs, because you could be needing them. So let's see, is that excavator finally getting done? What an annoying situation, I gotta admit. So it seems like our shop is finally done, and let's assign that one. So, well, I didn't want to do it like that, but it worked out just fine. So you guys now know how to fix that issue if it ever bites your back. So another thing that I wanted to showcase here is I did it there and tried to fix it. So the excavator here, you can set up a mining priority. So you can always tell your excavator to prioritize something above something else. So in this regard, we might want to prefer iron ore over other products, because this miner is actually supposed to be a iron ore miner and not a rock miner. I just did that the other episode to get the ball rolling for us, so to say. Okay, we're going to produce now the tier 2 construction parts, and luckily we have conveyor belts also researched already. Brilliant. So I'm going to do the ship dock repair tech now, and the other things here, well, let's pick up the fuel station tech. As you might already note, the fuel station is going to refuel machines for us, and it's going to be an end of this painful transportation. We're just going to put up a fuel station somewhere around here in this proximity, and it'll be wonderful for all of our machines. Okay, beautiful. So everything's now rolling again, and well, we've shown pretty decently in this episode how to fix issues, didn't we? So we have now construction parts available, and well, it is not a professional way. No, let's not do it. We could now transport these items out of the assembler via well, let's do it via conveyor belts. So we now enter an entirely new era of working with stuff, So let's put that down like this. I just say it's not professional because we're going to use completely different approaches there. So from this episode beyond, we're going to work entirely differently. We're going to set up entirely new venues of production, because now we are able to relay a lot of things in the next couple of episodes. So basically, we're stepping away now from a vehicle-driven logistic onwards to a conveyor belt-driven logistic. Yeah, definitely how I would put it. So we don't have enough maintenance, it says. So I'm not sure if this is only because of a material shortage, or if we really need more of these. Missing input, mechanical parts. Yeah, well, this was only happening because we had a tad bit of a shortage there. Only natural. So, as you see here already, these tier 2 construction parts are eating up a lot of our tier 1 construction parts. So, we also noticed that we need more resources than we did before. We're not good. We're not killing it with the current productions. So we have to amp up. The repair of the shipyard, by the way, will allow us sooner or later to get that ship back into shape, so we can do exploration outside of this here. So all these nodes will become available for the ship once we have repaired that. But right now, we happen to have a bit of a shortage of construction parts. I didn't plan that for this episode to happen like this, because, you know, the excavator situation kicked me off a little bit, but that's just as it is. So we also happen to have a higher demand on power now compared to our production. So quite simple, we just put up another diesel generator. For now, we also are quite okay with the diesel production, but we really gotta be careful that we produce enough fuel. So it never hurts to have too many of these bad boys running, but I don't want to go too deep into this today, because next episode we're also going to talk about ratios. So like, how many machines can I operate with how many machines, so to say? Like, how many blast furnaces do I need for how many metal casters? Because right now we were just plugging things together as we saw fit. That's totally fine to get started, and I really feel like that's a really good way to put things down at the beginning, but that's not where we're ending. So last thing that I wanted to show with this thing here, so we can now bring up a conveyor belt system. So conveyor belts need advanced construction products, but or construction parts, so they are a tad bit costly, but we can put down things like these. I think you can already assume what's happening there. This will therefore henceforth transport these items automatically from one machine to another, which is really awesome, because this will keep our machines from being over busy like crazy. Also, you see here we happen to have an issue with lots of things like capacities. So we're going to bring up new pickups now, since we have now the everything we need. Vehicle parts, rubber, and diesel are materials that we are producing by now, so it ain't any issue getting these into town. So we have a severe lack of construction parts, though, as usual, and therefore, well, we'll have to ramp up a couple of things. So for this episode, we have ended basically the starter phase of the game. From here on, we're going to work hard on updating or upgrading our capacities and opening up new venues. So for the next episode, my bigger plan is to get ourselves a more sturdy production of construction parts, because as of now our construction part production is a little bit bad. All in all, we are not able to whip up larger things, and therefore I really want to get that going better. I just wanted to show you here. Now it's transporting, but it doesn't roll if the connected machines are not enabled. So just wanted to show you that. The really big benefit of these machines, I don't think I need to emphasize that too hard. It's quite simply said. It is crazy how powerful this is going to be in the long run. Anywho, so our oil production here is something I'm a little bit worried about, because we are consuming quite a lot of diesel by now, but we'll be handling these things in the next episode. So my dear friends, I'm going to cut this episode a tad bit shorter, because I don't want to open up a new topic here in this episode. I'm going to stack up a little bit in terms of materials there. So we have a nice and clean start for the next episode, when we're going to start to amp up and leave the beginner steps and get this into a real factory. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. Drop me your comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinions, additions, and whatever you have on your mind. The wonderful thing about sandbox games is that there's always plenty of solutions for the same problem. So I'm pretty sure that the options you see here are only one method of doing it. I really want to stress that out. And leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show, of course. consider also subscribing. There's daily content coming up from my side. I'd be delighted to have you folks. So, have a good day, and see you soon. Bye-bye.